Well, good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining us. Today we have two critical issues to discuss, and it's about concerns being raised by key stakeholders within Ghana's electoral space or governance space about the limited registration exercise to be undertaken by the Electoral Commission of Ghana, and then also concerns that the modalities being adopted, now accepted to be used for that registration exercise, are likely going to create a lack of access or going to disenfranchise ultimately some notable persons within our population who have qualified to vote because they are 18 and above, haven't yet been registered. Because for each constituency, the Electoral Commission is designating what it calls its office, its main office, or if you like, its district office in that constituency to be used as the point of registration. I also do know, as well as many of you, that there are many people who could be disenfranchised or not get access to that registration district office because of many other things. Could be transport for the day, could be distance, could be ailment, etc. So the question is, shouldn't we have the Electoral Commission rather increasing its point of registration across the country, or whatever means can be adopted to ensure that we don't create that lack of access? As a result, we have some key personalities to help us do the discussions. I have with me, communicating for the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, our distinguished president, and then also for the ruling party, I have a serial entrepreneur, also a politician, of course, young in age, Eric Amwakuchum. Good morning to you. What's your main constituency?
Fantiakwa South.
Fantiakwa South. He used to be with Chobu Amasaman as chair. He's a young, old politician, if I can put that. He's been in the trenches for long. And also next to him is energy consultant, legal practitioner, currently chair for the Political Affairs Committee of Kwame Nkrumah's CPP, reorganized and registered from 1992. Lawyer Kwame Jantwa. He is a distinguished son of Asante. How are you?
I'm very well. Did you call him serial entrepreneur?
No. Yes, a serial entrepreneur. He's a distinguished entrepreneur.
The white business I have from
Oh, no, a businessman. And then also, well, we formerly knew him as a journalist, but now a distinguished politician, member of parliament for Tamale North, the distinguished Alhassan Sohiyeni, who has promised me he come here in peace. Good morning.
Ever mischievous.
Hey, Roland.
As I always do, let me say good morning to some couple of friends of mine who have joined us on social media. Let me just make sure that open the tablet that has been supplied to me by Media General so that I get to the site. Please make sure that you share the link. Let us know what you think about today's topic. So, money, need money. I have Amuda Hamidu, who has joined us from the United States of America. William Beche, you've also joined us. We're grateful. Ras Kotoka, Meshak Anan, Ofanetete. And then Al Hassan Kamil, Disoso has also joined us. Yabua George. Many of you, I know, these are just pseudonyms. They are not your real names. Akosia Jibodi has also joined us. Atoli Hemas. Good morning. Abochi Samuel. Godfred Mensah, Hamza, all of you have joined us. We're grateful. Please share. Solly Evans, you are watching. Please share. Akasokri Joseph, you share. Money Lion of the Born to Defend group. We thank you. We also encourage you to cash out within the period because the short code *439# is available for you. Share. Let us have some good time. Ishola Honorable says, nice intro, Roro, keep it up, I hear you. Now, let's get into the groove. Let's do the introduction of the promo as commissioned by the Electoral Commission and some concerns that will be raised by Martin Amidu that will play later. But first, the promo, and then later we'll call for the Martin Amidu insert. Please, I said Martin Pebu to be more precise. 2023
Commission is making preparations for voters' registration exercise from 12 September to 2nd October 2023 to enable citizens who have turned 18 years or persons who have not previously registered to visit the EC office in their district and register as a voter ahead of the upcoming district level elections 2023. The registration exercise is in line with the Commission's mandate to compile the register of voters and revise it at such periods as may be determined by law. Every eligible Ghanaian should visit the EC office in their district and present their Ghana card or passport for inclusion in the voters register. Applicants who do not have a Ghana card or passport are required to bring 2 persons who are already registered voters to guarantee their registration. Do not register again if you have lost your voter ID card. Replacement of voter ID cards will start from 3rd October 2023 after the registration exercise. Transfer of votes will also be done from 3rd October to 9th October 2023. It is a criminal offense for a guarantor to guarantee for more than 10 people, non-Ghanaians and persons who are not 18 years of age. Guarantors who violate this provision will be prosecuted. The voters' registration exercise is part of efforts to ensure credible, transparent and peaceful elections in Ghana. Register to vote.
At least about 3 million of our citizens live on less than 24 Ghana cedis a day. Poverty is so high. So it beggars believe that it can come out with a registration process that says that go to the district offices of the EC. Some of them long distances, long. I think one day somebody was showing that one of the distances is over 100 kilometers. All right, it's not possible. So perhaps minimum, even if the EC cannot do for all, then the longer ones, perhaps they will start with those ones and bridge.
Okay.
Open more offices for registration in those ones. So something can be done, but it certainly cannot be registration in only the district offices of the EC. So it's good that citizens are engaging. Yes, because Article 45 says that the EC should expand, should have programs to expand the voters register.
Right.
Also, Article 45 says that it should register people to vote in an election. So don't do it in a manner that will suppress votes.
Right.
No. It's conducted by the EC smarts of voter suppression.
That said, Mr. Mwakushum, why have you instructed the Electoral Commission as a government to create the registration center to be only one in a district? Why?
Roland, are you seriously asking me that question, that any government can actually instruct the Electoral Commission to set up offices or the modalities that it will take to run a registration exercise? I mean, I don't think that's a very fair question. No government, this MPP government has absolutely no role in the decisions that are taken at the Electoral Commission. I don't think that we need to start this conversation on this route. The Electoral Commission, per our Constitution, is an independent body. It's a body that is mandated to run the affairs of the state when it comes to electoral purposes. Now, for me, I think that sometimes some of these conversations, depending on if you're in government or opposition, creates a certain perception that when you're ruling government, you're in cahoots with the EC, and you become, by default, spokespersons for the Electoral Commission. I'm not here to speak for the Electoral Commission. I don't speak for the Electoral Commission. If there are certain things that needs more clarity, the Electoral Commission itself has a PR directorate and all of that. They can explain those things. But that notwithstanding, I think that we need to be very careful with some of these conversations around elections and making it look like, I mean, there are certain attempts to, I mean, you're using words like voter suppression. And who gives you what was the indication that suggests that if voters are suppressed, it's in yours to the benefit or otherwise of one party or the other? I mean, I find some of these generalizations sometimes a bit banal, if you ask me. The reality on the ground is that the Electoral Commission is mandated to do these things, even on a daily basis. The law that actually sets up the Electoral Commission suggests that at every point in time, if any citizen of this country turns 18 or decides that whatever point it is that they so wish, decides to go on a roll, has the right to do so. It's the same political parties that have kicked against that continuous registration of voters in this country by virtue of some of these, if you like, ridiculous casting of aspersions and creating all sorts of things.
You call them as ridiculous. Casting of aspersions.
We have been
Do you think that is fair?
We have been here before. And sometimes when we have these conversations, if you're not careful, you'd go back and make, if you like, references and come up with examples of things that have happened in the past. And I think that over the period, our electoral processes, even if you look at the reforms that have taken place in this since 1992, at a point where we had opaque ballot boxes and time-printed, the voter cards and everything, to the point where we actually have biometric voter registration. We've come a long way. Yes, if there are certain challenges within the system, by all means, let's fix it. But this whole argument about even people moving from their homesteads to district office, for me, sometimes I really do not understand. This is a limited registration exercise for a district assembly election, right? And so I believe strongly that even with all the things that are being done with the NIA card and the trying to probably find a common ground to see how this can be merged to create like a proper voter identification system, I'm sure that we would get there. But for anybody to suggest that there's a certain instruction
there's
from
no grand
government,
scheme.
But the thing, how is it going to benefit anyone? Let's say, for instance, we all know in this country that all political parties will have certain strongholds. How does that benefit MPP, for example, if there's voter suppression in our stronghold? It doesn't make any sense politically to anybody. Of course not. So if there are specific issues, for me, I believe that the integrity of the voter roll is more important than anything. It's sacrosanct.
That's what you believe.
That speaks to the sovereignty of every nation. So the persons that will find themselves in that role should by all means be Ghanaians. And so sometimes this whole argument that we need to, I've never even understood this whole concept of, and these are some of the challenges that we are facing, this whole concept of people vouching for others. Right? No proper civilized democracy actually does that you go and stand in a queue and 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 people are coming as one person.
You mean the guarantor system?
A guarantor system. And this person says, Suhini can get on the roll because I can vouch for him, but Eric Chung cannot get, or Kwame Jantua cannot get. What kind of system is that? We have gotten to the point where with the advent of technology and the things that is open to us, we can be able to sanitize the role and make sure that persons that find themselves in that particular register are supposed to be there. So, this whole over-politicization of it and creating a certain impression, for me, does not sit well. Let's fix the challenges. Is it a case that we should ensure that the EC has the capacity to do registration and on an ongoing basis like it's best practice everywhere? As a political party, even if we sat here today and say that we want to give that take that into consideration, we would disagree. Because you know what we do? We are saying that even when the EC is doing registration, you have to have political party agents and representation there. So are you going to have politicians or political or operatives or agents sitting in the EC office to make sure that every day that somebody turns 18 and they walk into an EC office, a politician or a political operative should be there? So we have to be minded by some of these things. And these are practical, logistical
and the upgrade of
challenges.
Technology.
And so we can use that. So there's this conversation about the NIA, for example. If you go through a rigorous, stringent means of ensuring that persons who are holding NIA cards as Ghanaians are able to you find a way of transferring them onto a voter roll, so be it. We might have challenges going from, you have certain persons by dint of where they find themselves being probably disadvantaged. But what is the best way to ensure that the integrity of the electoral roll is there, and that the persons who find themselves on the roll are people who are supposed to be there, and they are all going there to to do a civic responsibility to vote for whoever becomes a government in this country. That's what we are talking about. So for me, you can go and sue the Electoral Commission. You can do all of those things. Are they doing anything that is either illegal or is against the Constitution? When they go to court, the court will decide.
So, Hini, if you do a recollection of 2020, it was within COVID. We were told that borders were supposed to be closed. And so, while we say that the independence of the Electoral Commission is assured, we also had actions undertaken by the executive in the name of COVID. Now, that is where the issues have always been around the Electoral Commission, about its intent. The thing is that technology is there. It can be used. It's the intent of the structures of the executive and the other organs of government that have created a mistrust to the point where we even have CODEO, which for its existence for several years has been the mainstay of monitoring elections with great experienced people, raising concerns that the way you're going about the current registration has been the same old issue that will bring mistrust. Is that not the case?
Roland, I, to a very large extent, agree with you, but permit me to start on an unexpected note. I haven't been on live TV for over 40 days now, and this is because I lost my beloved mother on 25th July.
Our condolences.
And thank you. And we had the 3 days funeral. We did 7 days Adua, and we did the 40 days just restricted to family only last week Friday. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all those who took time out of their busy schedules to mourn with the family. My special gratitude goes to the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and family, especially his brother and wife, Ibrahim Mahama and Mrs. Lordina Mahama. I also thank the leadership of Parliament, both the minority and the majority side, and my colleague MPs who were there in these very difficult times, ministers of state who also made time to mourn with us. And I also wish to thank the Royal Majesty, Yana, forgive me, Yana Bukari, Yana, and our revered chiefs. I also wish to thank the Overlord of the Nanong and chiefs, imams, my friends, and the rank and file of all the political parties, especially the National Democratic Congress. Their support, their show of concern, and everything that they did helped the family to endure this very difficult time. And it is our prayer that our mother and all our loved ones who have departed this earth will find rest in the bosom of our Maker. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them Jannatul Firdaus. And today also happens to be the birthday of the Member of Parliament for Tamale South, my big brother, Haruna Idrisu. And he was a pillar, especially at the time that we performed this funeral. And he's always been. And I wish to take this opportunity to wish him a very, very happy birthday. And may God continue to guide and clear his path. And we pray that all his heart desires will be granted by the good Lord. Happy birthday to Honorable Haruna Idrisu. Now, Roland, I said I agree with you to a very large extent because some of the actions that the Electoral Commission has taken, especially under the leadership of Madam Jane Mensah, leaves much to be desired. And in this discussion, I want us to focus on a couple of things. One, the illegality of what they are doing as far as this limited registration exercise is concerned. The arrogant ignorance and the possible attempt to manipulate the outcome of the 2024 general elections. I'll deal with the illegality first. Article 42 of our Constitution clearly stipulates that every Ghanaian 18 years and above and of sound mind is entitled, and the word here is entitled, has the right to be registered as a voter. It's a right. You are entitled to it. Now, Article 45E of the same Constitution gives the Electoral Commission that responsibility. It mandates the Electoral Commission. It's a duty that it is not supposed to share, to undertake activities that will expand the voter register and make it possible for any Ghanaian 18 years and above and of sound mind to be able to register. The Electoral Commission has its own CI 91, Regulation 22B, also gives a certain requirement for the setting up of registration centers. 22B. First, it says that a registration center should be suitable for use on election day. That's A. A registration center should be suitable for use on election day. And then most importantly, B says that it must be accessible. The place that is designated as a registration center should be accessible to the potential voter. Accessible to the potential voter. Now, the question to ask yourself is, are these regional offices suitable for use on election day? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know of any district office of the Electoral Commission that is, suitable for elections. On election day, it is not a polling center. 2, are they accessible? Are they accessible? And see, I have said on other occasions that some of the problems we face in this country is due to the lack of geographical appreciation of decision makers in this country. There are a lot of people who are at decision making places or in decision making offices who lack basic understanding of the geography of Ghana. At best, they know Accra, they know Kumasi, and they know Cape Coast. And maybe sometimes they know Takoradi.
I think they know all. Oh.
The places, there's a difference between knowing of a place and knowing a place. They have not traveled this country. How many people have you met who will tell you that, oh, this is the first time I'm in BA. This is the first time I am in the North. This is the first time I am in the Volta. And yet, they are either managers, they are directors, they are occupying influential positions. And so because of this lack of understanding of the geography of this country, when they are making decisions, they are myopic. Their decisions are based on what they know. And so when they say Electoral Commission's office, district office, they are limiting their thinking to what pertains in Ashanti region. So where the district offices are, or in Greater Accra, where the district offices are accessible. Or in Central region, the district offices, they are accessible. But, Roland, and that is where the arrogant ignorance I spoke of comes in. Because you see, when you are ignorant and you are not arrogant about it, you can learn. You go to some districts, as we speak, for example, there are so many communities in Saboba that are cut off, completely cut off, because it is the rainy season. And that again is the reason why in the past, many of these exercises were never done in the rainy season. Completely cut off. Many communities, not only in the Saboba district, but many other communities, especially up north. Remember, the Bagri Dam will be spilled soon. Many communities will be cut off. Apart from the distance that people speak of, the inaccessible roads in some communities to access their district capital, where the Electoral Commission's district office may be, it can take them 2 days travel time. 2 days travel time. They will have to cross rivers and streams in their front plains here. I'm sure that Eric knows that because he's close to their front plains. He will know the difficulty that some communities will have to access the Electoral Commission's office to undertake this registration exercise. Now, is the Electoral Commission by this not denying people in these communities who are 18 and above and of a sound mind the opportunity and the right to get registered onto the register? Clearly they are. And that is illegal. That is unconstitutional. Because they are supposed to ensure that it is made accessible to these people. And access is not just about, availability. You can say that, oh, the Electoral Commission has a district office, it's available. But is it accessible to everybody? If you look at Greater Accra, you say, oh, it's accessible. Central region, you can say, oh, people can just drive there and ride there.
There's no intent. The problem is that is there an intent?
Yes.
Between the actions of the executive and then
Roland,
actions of the independence of the Electoral Commission itself to create that.
I'll get there.
How does the executive come into this
I'll get there, Roland. That's why I said.
That's why I asked the question. There's no intent.
That's why I'm saying that there's the illegal aspect of this exercise. There's the arrogant ignorance aspect of this, conversation, and there's the possible manipulation aspect of this exercise. So I'm saying that if you look at these district offices, clearly, if you have a basic understanding of the geography of this country, you will not say that all Electoral Commission district offices are accessible to the people. And that goes against, 22B, Regulation 22B of CI 91. And so, Roland, because these facts should not be lost on the entire leadership of the Electoral Commission, you will begin to wonder why then will they want to undertake this exercise in this manner? That's the question you will ask yourself, because it is so basic that they should know that limiting registration to the district offices will deny a lot of people from registering. And Roland, apart from the fact that this is a rainy season, many communities are cut out, apart from the distances that people have to travel to get to some district offices, you should also not forget that since 2020, we have not done a limited registration exercise. So you have a backlog of about 2 years. Now, in 2020, when we did limited registration exercise, we had limited registration exercise in 2019. And we did limited registration exercise in 2020.
No, it was a full registration.
Yeah, full registration.
It's a complete
registration. There was a limited registration exercise.
Before the main registration.
Yes, before the major. And at that time, we opened 1,500 polling centers. The same Electoral Commission opened 1,500 registration centers in 2020, when they did not have the backlog that we have now. So, why on earth will the Electoral Commission, expecting to register more people rather this time, limit the registration centers or reduce it from 1,500 in 2020 to only 256. Why? Well, and that is where the answer to the question leads you to no other conclusion rather than an attempt to manipulate the exercise to favor, one political party. Because in this case, it is not just the NDC that is making these claims. That is why the suit that has been filed in court has all these other political parties joining. And so you ask yourself what interest the Electoral Commission has when it comes to suppressing this registration exercise. And Eric was saying that he cannot understand how this will benefit any political party. Well, maybe you have not been reading the political, data that much. Because clearly, every incumbent government suffers apathy.
Yeah, but then that doesn't mean that you would...
Can I come in? Can I
But
finish?
you asked me a question.
No. I didn't ask you a question.
Well,
I'm rather answering a question you left.
Please inform me.
You understand? Every incumbent government suffers apathy. And in this regard, sometimes, and because of the economic conditions that we face today, if you are able, for example, to ensure that in your strongholds, where perhaps the district offices are more accessible, people get registered.
Conjecture.
And then the other areas where it is not accessible, where you know that perhaps you will suffer, your huge losses, people don't get to register. That is voter manipulation. That is voter suppression in the strongholds of your opponents.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be lost on you that there is something to gain if the Electoral Commission makes it impossible or difficult for people who otherwise would have voted against this government to get registered. And that, in my view, is what the Electoral Commission is engaged in. And so I wish the parties well, and I am disappointed that it seems like the judiciary is also already beginning to play games. And I've been saying this, there are some institutions that have been strategically placed, and if not dealt with, our elections, not only 2024, will continue to be compromised. Because how on earth will you go to the courts? You want to file a motion, and then they tell you that the Chief Justice is not in town, and so you can't have a date until the Chief Justice returns. And Eric was talking about digital era. The Chief Justice is not in town, and so your case you can't be given a date for hearing until the Chief Justice is in town. What is the interest?
Okay. Right.
The registrar of the court no longer has the right to give people dates for hearing.
Okay. Now, Mr. Janto, there are key issues, and then let's make a reference to, you go to section 30 of CI 91. Let's go to section 30 of CI 91. It will be on the screens very soon. And then we'll read that for you. It says that revision of the register. Now, 31 says the commission shall supervise the registration of voters annually and may revise the register of voters for each electoral area within the period that the commission shall determine. Now, 2, the process for registration as provided in these regulations apply with the necessary modification as the commission shall direct for the revision of any register. That said, you go to also the injunction in terms of what the writ says. You go to 41. It says, it makes reference by those who send the issue to court that the chairperson of the respondent issued a statement stated publicly on the 10th of May 2023 on an earlier injunction, and this time in reference to the Dufour case when the NDC was having its internal elections, where we had the response of the Electoral Commission being that in order that we are not cited for contempt, the Commission has taken the decision not to supervise the conduct of the presidential and parliamentary elections until the determination of the case by the court. And this is being cited because this is an independent action of the independent body, the Electoral Commission, because there was a case filed in court and was in lieu taking a decision before the court makes that decision based on the determination of that case. If you take a look at that, there's a case in court, there's an action taken by the Electoral Commission with precedent, and this time it says that I'm waiting for the court or has taken no action at all. But we also do know that these are the actions that tend to raise questions about whether there is an intent or not of a specific independent body, and this time we're talking about the Electoral Commission. What do you make of this, Lawyer Jantua?
Good morning.
Morning.
Before I go there, let me ask you a question.
Please do.
The presidency, who guards the presidency?
Who got
in terms
it?
of the security services?
We have designated entity within the Ghana Armed Forces as well as the police.
The Ghana Armed Forces and the police. It's more the police than the Ghana Armed Forces.
I think I see more of the Ghana Armed Forces, and then I see some police as well.
Is the Electoral Commission a war zone?
No, we're not at war. But since 2017, we've seen that.
Why the
Since
army there?
Sedun Kete and Co took
Please,
cutlasses
please,
and machetes,
please,
and they
please.
have had police people there.
Please.
That's untrue.
Please.
I said who have never
That's the response, official response of government. So
I'm
we'll
sure.
take it as
What
that.
do you
No,
mean?
but
I'm just saying.
Roland,
I'm just
you
giving.
shouldn't allow it to slide like it is
Have you
true.
forgotten when you guys took the Patakari and all of those things?
No, I said
and
that I
cudgels
took
and
cutlasses
everything?
where? Okay. No, don't let it slide, Roland, as if it is true. Let him
that's
withdraw
his
it.
opinion. Yeah,
Opinion is not about facts.
Please go ahead, Lawyer Jantua.
Some of these things, we let them slide. It's not fair. Where on
I
where?
I said Kete didn't take cutlasses.
Absolutely. So let it.
So please, Lawyer Jantua, go ahead.
Why do we have soldiers guarding the Electoral Commission? Why do we have soldiers guarding the Electoral Commissioner? Who has explained it to Ghanaians? Is there a particular reason? Is the Electoral Commission a war zone? Is it a place people can't go? Is it not provocative and intimidatory to have soldiers there? And nobody says anything about it. It's quiet and it's silent. Why? The Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner, what really should she be doing? Is she not an individual who should be bringing people together? Without political parties, does the Electoral Commission stand?
Ideally.
So shouldn't she be the one who should make sure that she can jaw and bring people together? But no, there is a stance. Now, Roland, tell me, what's the reason why the Electoral Commission is sticking to this particular issue of having it in the district offices? Why? What reason have they given us?
Their independence.
Oh, their independence. They should give us a reason why. If political parties are saying, no, this is X, this is Y, so tell us why you still want to have it in the district offices. And that is where the conjecture comes that you're trying to do something untoward. Because you can't even explain to us why you want to hold the elections in the district office. Look, the registration. The crux of this particular issue, the principle of it is in Article 42 of the Constitution, where it states, every citizen of Ghana of 18 years of age or above and of sound mind has the right to vote and is entitled to be registered as a vote for the purposes of public elections and referenda. What does that mean? No one Ghanaian can be disenfranchised. No one Ghanaian. So, if all the issues are being told, and yes, some of us, we've traveled the country because of politics. And sometimes even to get your party members to come to a central point.
It takes a lot of mobilization.
It takes a lot of mobilization and it takes a lot of planning.
That's true.
It takes a lot of planning to get your members to come. Because you know what happens? If you do not do that and you go to a constituency and you don't bring them, they castigate you. We are members of your party. You came to the constituency. You couldn't even be bothered to bring us in. So, when you now go to 45, 45, Article 45C, it says, the Electoral Commission is to conduct and supervise all public elections and referenda. Are you trying to tell me that when it comes to elections, they are not going to set up election boxes and all this in those places? Are you trying to tell me? They'll tell them, come to the district office to vote. Is that what they'll tell them?
They will.
So what stops them from doing this one today? What stops them? What stops them? I don't understand why we should always have some kind of provocative issue with the Electoral Commissioner all the time. Why? Why are they there? What's the Electoral Commission there for? They are there to supervise elections, to make sure that the boundaries and all, that anything that has to do with national elections and even party elections, they are supposed to take control of it. So why are they being stubborn and hard-headed when a number of parties tell you, please, and we know our members, some of them won't be able to afford it, and by so doing, you are disenfranchising them.
Why do you think the chair of the Electoral Commission, Jane Adokwe Mensah, is doing that?
I don't know. I don't know, not unless she's taking instructions from her boss.
Who is the boss?
Who put her there?
You mean the president?
Who put her there?
Eric, please let people make their
you know,
comment.
but
Today
this
you
morning
came in,
guys-
you are this. No, please.
No,
please.
no,
Eric,
no, but
Eric,
I mean,
Eric,
if you
Eric,
can't,
Eric,
if you
Eric,
can't
Eric,
give me
Eric,
a
please.
reason,
Allow Mr.
if
Jantua
you
to
can't-
make his comment. No,
Yeah,
no,
but
please.
if
Today
you
you
can't-
become like you are interjecting.
if
Like
you
you are usually
can't
a calm
give,
person.
listen, Eric. If you can't
But
give me
sometimes-
No, no,
Eric,
Eric,
if you can't give me a reason why you want to hold the district registrations at your district offices, what then should I say? You can't give me a reason. So, Roland,
Yes, sir.
we get up from here. I see your wallet is taken from your pocket. Then I pull it. Then as I go out, you see me holding it. The first thing you ask me, oh, Mr. Jantua, why? And if I can't give you a reason why, will that not infuriate you?
It will.
Will it not make you annoyed? That, Mr. Jantua, you took my wallet from my pocket and you couldn't say anything. And I'm saying that the Electoral Commission is there for the people. They must be able to give us a reason why they want to hold this. And the political parties ask for an injunction. And because they are saying that the Chief Justice is not there, they cannot serve the Electoral Commission with the writ. They can't.
You think it's deliberate?
I don't know. I don't know, because I believe the Chief Justice, wherever the Chief Justice is going, there's somebody there who will take her place in case anything happens. So that's somebody there. I think this one is the registrars at the courts who can handle this thing. But if you say the Chief Justice signs these things, and Eric was talking about digitalization right now, isn't it easy to communicate? You can be in Afghanistan. Isn't it easy to communicate? You've got phones. You can even do conference call on WhatsApp. Can they not call her? Oh, such and such has come. What should we do? Oh, okay, give it to this person to sign so that it's quick. No, be so. And I ask the question, all these institutions that are there, are they not there because of the people? Are they not there to make things easier for the people? So why is it that there are always infractions if there's no intent? If there's no intent to cause things that probably aren't even there. I don't understand it. Simple. There are Ghanaians who won't be able to make it because they don't have the wherewithal. So please, Electoral Commission, listen to us. Let's not have this in the district offices. Let's try possibles. Come back to us and tell us, we don't have X, we don't have Y, we don't have A, resources aren't available. So if you want us to do it, how do we do it? Tell us something. Have they been able to tell us anything? No. So definitely. Some of us will say there's an intent somewhere.
Yeah.
They are doing things to favor the ruling party. They're doing things because elections are coming. They're doing things because the economy is such that the ruling party, if you're not careful, they might not win the next election. But we have to make sure they win. We will say it. If you can't come and tell me why you're doing it. So, let's see.